All right, we're back, and we're back with the man in black. That's right. Here he is, Josh McDaniels, new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. What's up, man? Thanks
How you
for
doing?
coming on. Doing great.
It's great to be here.
So wait, did you go to the store after you signed the contract and were like, let me buy a bunch of black T-shirts and black shirts?
No, I like black. I've had a lot of black always, and my wife's really happy.
Yeah, she is?
My mother's happy.
Right.
I don't know about
it's easy. They're good fashion colors.
I don't think it feels slimming to me, but I guess everybody else thinks it is.
It is slimming.
Yeah.
It definitely is. It definitely works that way.
It's easy to wear.
Yeah.
I could say that.
Right. It's a great uniform, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
no doubt.
You specifically, unbelievable journey. We have some history together that goes way back. I have tremendous respect for you. I think you're one of the best offensive minds in football for a long time.
Thank you.
But what to finally be here, from just kind of unpack the Denver to now, and just how you've changed as a human being a little bit.
Yeah, I've said for a while now, I think when I went to Denver, I knew a little bit of football, and that was all based on my experience with Bill in New England and how much I had learned there for 8 years. But I didn't understand in totality, how do you really cultivate the organization? How do you protect the culture? How do you build it up? And going through that experience really taught me a lot about what I didn't know.
Right.
And having an opportunity to kind of digest that over the last decade, and then try to put it into action, and let it work with our offensive staff in New England, our offensive team in New England, and just try to be better in every way, as a coach, as a person, to build the relationships with the people that I'm around every day. I totally understand it in a different light now.
Right.
And the last decade has really given me time to really digest all that and then get comfortable with what I need to do and how I need to be on a day-to-day basis. And so I think that time that I've spent looking back at what I've done and what I've learned has really prepared me to be at peace now to make this decision, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, I've always respected your realness. You are a self-evaluator. I know that about you, being around you. You're amazing that way. I heard you even say, I think, and I believe it was in the introductory press conference, you didn't communicate well enough. Mm-hmm. I was there with you. I felt you were great with the quarterbacks and all of that. Yeah. But specifically, what didn't you like about your communication there in Denver?
I would say this, just understanding the value that people need to feel in their role on a day-to-day basis, and making sure that they feel appreciated by you, and sometimes I feel like you get wrapped up so much in the work and so much in the grind of it all, and you really enjoy that part of it, but there's a human element to this game. There's a human element to organizations that is real. And so to be able to walk around and make sure that those people know that you care about them and that you value their contribution to the organization is so important. And it's part of who I am now. It's part of what I want to be. And I hope I can do a good job of that in Las Vegas.
I've always been saying, man, if Josh McDaniels gets another crack, it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. I'm just telling you. I think I'm a believer in you. But with your, we're in the city.
Yeah.
Indianapolis. You were supposed to go here and be the head coach after you guys lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That changed. Did you worry that maybe you might never get a chance again? Was there ever that kind of moment that you're like, oh man, am I going to get left out?
Yeah, not necessarily. I don't know that it would have really, devastated me. If my career ended today and they said, hey, this is all you got to accomplish, there's probably a lot of people that would trade for that, those experiences. Yeah. I've been very blessed, very fortunate to be part of a great organization, a first-class organization in New England that accomplished so much, and I was a small part of that, and my family got to be a part of that. So I feel like the decisions that you make are in the best interest of you, your career, your family. I tried to do that. I understood some things were not necessarily popular at the time.
Right.
I never meant to do that and hurt or dissuade anybody, but just so fortunate that I've had the time and the opportunity to really reflect on the things I've learned and grow as a person, grow as a coach. and now give it everything I got in this opportunity, which I'm going to do.
Yeah, I know you're going to do it. I remember too at that time you talked a little bit, and I think maybe even we had one little personal conversation where you just said, hey, whatever, going back to New England was best for me and my family. And I know you made a comment. I think you even said it publicly that I need to learn more from Bill. I need to crack into the vault a little bit more.
Yeah.
And understand how he does all those things.
Yeah.
Like, was he open to do that with you?
Yeah.
Like, what was that like?
Yeah, he's been great with me.
Yeah.
I couldn't ask any more from Coach or Robert or any of the people that really poured into me from a young age. And Bill's always kind of pulled the curtain back for me and tried to help me in any way that he could to be a better coach, to better prepare me for possibly what could lie ahead. And I'm indebted to him forever for what he's done for me in my life and my career. And and now it's time for me to put what I've learned into action. And I'm excited about the people that I have around me and the people that I have with me. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, you put together a good staff, definitely. You got to rewire a robot now. You got a new robot to rewire because he came from John Gruden and West right slot 70.
Sure.
We used to talk about that, the West Coast offense and all that stuff. Talk about, how do you jump into that process? Because your offense, your words, your system is completely different. So how do you kind of approach that with a guy that's been in one thing for a while?
Right now, I think it's been more relationship-based, you know what I mean? Like, get to know each other, human being to human being.
Right.
I think that's really most important at the beginning. There's going to be time for the football part of it, and we know that is coming. But Derek is such a good person, and he's such a competitor, and he loves the game of football. So it's been really fun for me to get to know him as a human and what makes him tick. I'm looking forward to eventually having an opportunity to teach him what gun trips right or zero out slot mean and all that stuff, which is a little different. The
formation's going to blow his mind. He'll be like, what? There's a number in the formation?
That's right. I know. We've already heard the grief about that so far. So we'll get to that. And honestly, it's been interesting because my last 2 years going from Tom to Cam, going from Cam to Mac, has really given me a chance to kind of go backwards a little bit. Because I was with Tom for so many years, and not that you didn't have new guys that you were teaching or younger quarterbacks, but to have it change so dramatically to where guys really weren't familiar with the terminology or the system, has given me an opportunity to kind of reflect on, okay, this is the pace you have to go at, the realistic pace you have to go at. So we'll figure out what that pace is for Derek, for the rest of our group on offense, for our team, because our team's going to be learning a totally new terminology as well. So it'll be fun. It's part of the challenge of the off season, part of the thing that you look forward to as a coach the most.
That was what I was going to say. You're going to gauge it a little bit off of how much he can digest.
Yeah.
You don't go in with a set plan. Just go, I'm just going to give 10 plays.
No.
And you're going to see if he can do 20, you'll say, screw it, here's 20.
Sure. I think you start with the foundation.
Yeah.
Do you understand the language? Once you understand the language, then you can kind of judge the capacity to how much can we handle at the same time.
Right.
And I think the best way to do that is you start with a little bit in the bucket, digest it, do it well, put a little bit more in there. There'll be a point where the bucket tips over.
Yeah.
But until we get there, I think we just keep trying to put a little bit more in, see how the group reacts, and if they react positively, then you keep feeding it.
Yeah, I got you. All right. Here's another thing, just from our time in Denver. You were the man. You were calling the shots. You were the de facto GM. I mean, am I correct? You had full power. Am I misremembering that?
That wasn't how it started, but
it's the way it ended.
And it was too much.
That's where I wanted to go. Now you're with a guy that knows New England,
Clearly.
Dave Ziegler.
Yep.
You're obviously comfortable with him.
Yep.
So talk about how that dynamic changes your process.
Yeah, Dave, I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with him. We've worked together for a long time now. We've known each other since college. Dave's a really good evaluator. He's very dependable. He's very trustworthy. He's very honest, and he's really hardworking. And and to me, the best part about this is I don't have to. I want to try to be good at the things I can be good at.
Yeah, right.
And I can't be good at everything.
Yeah.
I know that. I want to try to do a good job as the head coach. and I want to try to be a good play caller.
Yeah.
You know, and Dave's going to be the general manager, and Pat Graham's going to be the defensive coordinator, and Tom McMahon's going to be the special teams coordinator, and Mick Lombardi's going to be the offense coordinator. And I got to try to be really good at the things I feel like I can be good at.
Right.
And I can't let that bucket grow too big, you know, and I don't want that. I feel like the best way for our organization to work is for everybody to have the responsibilities they have and perform their roles their best. So Dave is a huge part of this for me. Really good at his job.
Yeah.
Really excited to have the chance to work with him.
You said it was too much, like, you know, the total, like, did you feel like even within the first time around in Denver that you maybe stuck your nose in too deep with everything a little bit? Even like
Absolutely.
Yeah, you did. Okay.
You just want to, you want to try to, again, hire the right people.
Right.
And then give them the opportunity to do their jobs really well.
Yeah.
You know, and if you feel like you're pulled in too many directions, you probably are doing too much yourself,
right? Or
you didn't put the right people around you, you know. And so I feel really fortunate that we have the group around me that we do.
Yeah, you're kind of a quarterback whisperer. I'm going to say that, okay?
Yeah.
I know you're not going to, but I'm going to. All right, and I got to ask you a little bit about Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Just the year he had.
Yeah.
What impressed you so much about him? You know, what is it that makes Mac Jones kind of special and at such a young age?
Yeah. He's the first thing that stood out to me when I first met him was his maturity.
Right.
You know, and it's not just maturity day to day as a human being in your interactions, but it's also maturity from a football perspective. He understands the verbiage. He understands when you talk about an overfront or late rotation or, you know, disguise. He gets all that, you know. And so as a young player, it was really different for me to be able to go at the pace you could go at with Mac,
right?
Because he just had such a capacity to learn and then to do it well.
Yeah.
So he's very accurate.
Right.
He's very tough, as you saw. He took some big hits last year. You know, and he wants to win, and he's very competitive, extremely hardworking. Got a bright future ahead of him.
Like, you must have met him and been like, he's a New England guy. I mean, he just seems like I could have pegged that a year ago if I knew he was going to fall to you to 15.
Yeah. It's hard. Again, as we've done all these quarterbacks over the years, it's hard to find guys that are that far along in their maturation process in the game of football.
Right.
And so being in New England, being with Coach Dayball for a little bit of time there.
Right.
You know, I think Coach Sarkisian did a great job with him.
Yeah.
So he's been around a lot of good coaches.
He really has.
And, you know, I don't deserve the credit for that. He was ready-made in many ways when he got to us in the process last spring. So, you know, being able to try to take that and then mold it and push it a little further was what we were trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I got to ask this just because I'm curious as a fan. I mean, Brady's the man, right? Mm-hmm. Young Brady. Did young Brady have the mental, you know, again, I'm not trying to compare. This is Tom Brady. I know that. Did he have the mentality and the knowledge that you're talking about that like Mac Jones had?
This is hard. I've been asked this question a lot, and it's hard for me to answer because I wasn't.
You weren't
with
the OC yet.
I wasn't even on offense.
You weren't even there yet.
I was on defense.
You were on defense. I was going to say, maybe you were out in scouting.
I was on defense in 01, 02, 03.
Gotcha.
And so when Tom was really going through those formative years, you know, in his career, his first 4 years, I was on defense.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't have an opportunity to gauge, you know, what's the difference between Mac in year one and Tom. So it's a hard one for me to answer.
Gotcha. All right. And then you think Tom Brady's done officially?
I don't know. I'll never believe that.
I know. I don't
Something
either.
about that is weird to me.
Right?
Like, yes, I have a hard time feeling like we'll have opening day happen next year and he's not going to be dressed up in a football helmet.
Yeah.
It'd be weird for me to think that that's going to happen.
I'm with you too. I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
Whatever he wants is really what we should all want.
Yeah.
And so if he's at peace with his decision, then God bless him.
All right, last one, because I know you got better things to do than talk to me, okay? But is does it come into effect of, damn, it's the AFC West. Mm-hmm. Oh, crap. There's Mahomes in Kansas City and Herbert. I mean, did that come to your mind at any point in the process, or is it just like, damn, it's the Raiders that give me a job, and that's it?
Yeah, I think, no, it did not in a negative way.
Right.
If anything, it's exciting to have an opportunity to compete with them.
Yeah.
Look, every division's hard. I don't care what division you compete in.
Yeah.
These guys in this division, all three of them, are going to present different challenges, unique challenges. You know, we're going to work on them this spring. We've already talked about that. You know, they're going to work on us, I'm sure. But to have an opportunity to compete against them, and then the feeling you get when you have an opportunity to beat them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure every one of us has felt that, and the exhilaration you feel when you beat one of the best. And so we're looking forward to preparing our football team this spring for that challenge when we get to the fall.
All right, awesome. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Me too.
I'm a Raiders fan now.
Thanks.
All right, man.
You.
There he is, Josh McDaniels, Mr. Black, all black himself. He's right in. He bought in. Thanks so much, man.
You got it. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, buddy. You're the best.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.